Russian tech genius is now online and will hopefully be able to solve the problem remotely all the way from Moscow. Okay, well, I've just had a great report on the radio, and we are heading in the right direction to see an animal that we haven't seen for a long time. So I'm just going to have to chat on the radio now, and so this morning has been a little bit chaotic, but I'm just going to have to chat and let the guys know that I am in the area that this animal is heading towards. Thanks very much. Did copy that update. I am arriving at Twin Dams now, and I'm going to stand by here. Thanks, Ryan. Will do. Well, great prospects, and I'm going to keep it a surprise. I'm not going to tell you what it is that's coming our way, but basically there's an animal, maybe two, I'm not too sure, but a really interesting animal that is coming towards us from the south to the north, and we are close to our southern boundary, so it's currently in a property where we do not drive, but thankfully it is coming towards us. One thing that always interests me when we do drive around, and we drive a lot of the same roads, not on a daily basis, but very often, and it's incredible to see how the animals' numbers move and fluctuate in any given area over time. You could come to this dam just in a few hours' time and it could be teeming with wildlife, yet now there is nothing around. There's a dyker that just ran across the road. I'd be impressed if anybody got a screenshot of that. Now, from time to time, you get really excited and come into an area and anticipate an animal that you know is heading in your direction, and you're eagerly anticipating its arrival, and a few hundred meters before it gets to the boundary that it needs to cross in order for you to be... This is where we will wait for them. As you look down to this reality of what could happen here this morning. So now we're expecting them to be coming from somewhere on our right, and this is where we will wait for them. As you look down to this little sandy patch below us here, you'll notice that it's very dry, and that's dried up in the last kind of month. during the summer rains over kind of November, December and January, this would have been filled with water. And as you can see, a lot of footprints where animals were wallowing and sloshing around in this mud. They're critically important for the animals, these mud wallows, as by caking themselves in mud, it creates protective layerings for them, and these muddy wallows are the perfect place for them to acquire this protection. It also simply aids in cooling the animals down, so there's immediate benefits as well as longer lasting benefits. Morning, Lex.
Morning.
Morning, Lex. How you doing?
Good, and you guys?
Very good. Morning, folks.
Hello.
How's everyone? Sorry?
What was something coming across this one?
Apparently, yes.
What?
So I was... It was going to be a surprise, so anyway, there's some...
Okay,
yeah, no?
keep it as a surprise.
Okay, sorry. But it's worth hanging around for.
Yes. Okay. I just vaguely heard something, so...
Yeah, no, we got lucky. We were in the right place at the right time.
All right. Well, let's see.
Yeah. And then you would have copied on the radio, but good prospects for
Yes.
Kunuma later on.
And you heard on the other Ngala on Buffalo.
I do, but I tend to block my ears out for that because we can't go there. It's been long since we've seen lion. Brent got a glimpse yesterday, thankfully, as they passed down at Sydney's Dam.
Yes.
But other than that, it's been over a week that we've seen lion. So, looking forward to their return. So, folks, it is very important to maintain good relationships with all of the guides in this area and just have a general chit-chat. So, apologies for losing focus on you guys and just chatting with Lex, who's
Got a visual.
a great guide and does spend a lot of time guiding his guests here in Juma. And Liam has spotted something. Oh, look at that. Look at this. You don't get better than this, folks. And well spotted there, Liam. And now you can all take a deep breath and enjoy the fact that it was a beautiful big male lion that we were waiting to see. And we are just going to wait here. I am hoping that he's going to decide to have a drink from the dam. But we will wait where we are here and enjoy the first visuals of him as he continues up towards us. But where has he gone? Oh, no, we can just wait here, it looks like. He is continuing on his original path. And finally, after many days, there is a lion on our property. And a beautiful big male. I'm not sure exactly who this is. Could well be one of the Matimba males, but again, I'm not entirely sure. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, now it is time to reposition, and I'm going to do so as hastily as possible. Just got a message through from Nicky in the final control saying that he's got a scar on his foot, which is a very good feature to distinguish one lion from another. It's got a prominent scar anywhere on its body. So Nicky, see one on his foot, that may help you to help me know who this is. But we've actually had so few sightings of big male lions that I actually don't know too much about them and their individualities. Oh, we are going to have a beautiful sighting. I think our timing could have got better. He's just arrived at the water's edge. Wow, look at this. Absolutely wonderful. Well, a brief drink, and he continues on the move now. It's going to be very interesting to see how long he does move for this morning, because lions are less likely to move during the heat of the day, a lot less likely than leopard, for example, and it could be that he moves for about another half an hour would be my guess, before he lies down. Twin Dams is mobile north from there. He is certainly moving with some intent, and they can cover huge distances when they are moving intently, as this one is. Just trying to loop ahead to make the most of this open area that we are in now, because he is going to start heading into thicker vegetation where it will be harder to show you great views of him. Beautiful. He just moved meters past our vehicle, and that was absolutely wonderful. Go ahead, Brent. There's 3 vehicles here, Brent. I'm not sure who's on standby. Now, it's important for us to try and share evenly with all the vehicles opportunities to view this animal. So, essentially, we play a game of leapfrog and allow one vehicle at a time to try and get into a good position to show his guest this animal. So now we'll just enjoy the view from here until we finally do lose visual of him. He's been distracted by something that he can smell off the road there in the grass, and I always wonder what exactly they are smelling when they veer off their track to investigate different scents. Well, what a morning it's been so far, and to find a male leopard with a fresh duiker kill to start with, and then head off to a dam in the hope of just finding anything, and then minutes later on the radio hear a report that there's a beautiful big male lion heading straight towards where we were heading, means our luck is running exceptionally high. And thankfully Brent's broadcast is also back up and running, so he's back in the mix, and it won't be long before we cut across to him for him to say good morning. And also, I'm sure it won't take long for him to find something of interest to share with you. So, as I mentioned, we are heading into a slightly thicker area, which will make looping ahead of this line very difficult. And it may be a few minutes before we do get our next visual, but that's not a problem. And patience is something you learn to have out here in the wilderness, because without it, you would get extremely frustrated. So the fact that there is a male lion around is enough to put a smile on my face, and I'm happy to wait a little while to get another incredible visual of him. Well, Jilly in Wisconsin, thanks so much for sending through your identification of this as a Matimba male. And Jilly remembers that from December there was one of the Matimba males that had a wound on his paw that took a while to heal, and I do also remember that vaguely, Jilly. So it's confirmed that it's one of the Matimba males. So he is part of a dominant coalition of males in this area. They have split up. There were initially 4, I believe, and they have split up into 2 groups of 2. But even when there are big groups of lion coalitions of 4 or 5, they tend to split up and spend time alone. Because their territory can be so large, they need to split up in order to be able to cover all that distance, and that way make sure that there's no intruders coming in onto their property. So that could well be what he's doing. Like I say, there's been no lion sightings for over a week on this property, so they're due to come and check up on their backyard here and make sure that there's no intruders. You may have noticed that another vehicle had pulled over, and he had spent some time in the front of the queue, and now is at the back, and now we are second in queue. So I'm sure it won't be long before the vehicle just in front of us makes space for us to be in pole position. There was a little pathway he took off the road there, and it's just again a shortcut that animals will take. And I've tracked these lion up and down on the same pathway that they often use, and we always lose the tracks on this little section of road as they take a small game trail. Now, understandably, the frontal view is always a nice one to have, but in the same breath, it's quite nice to look at them from this angle. You can get a great idea of how their paws and feet maneuver and work, and also how big they are. It's also important to realize how quickly he's walking. Now, and how much distance he's covered in just a short space of time. He's probably moved half a mile since we first got visual of him, and just goes to show that they can cover huge distances and do cover huge distances, which makes tracking them down difficult. Even if I was walking on these tracks behind him, it would be a brisk walk to keep up with him. Well, there's quite a lot of banter on Twitter mentioning that he is looking fairly hungry, and yes, he could do with the meal. Certainly, he's not full-bellied, and maybe that's also causing him to move with a little bit more intent than normal. If he continues along this road, it'll be very interesting to see whether he detects Kunyuma and his kill. What's acting in Kunyuma's favor at the moment is that the kill that he's just made has not been opened yet, and he hadn't started feeding on it. Therefore, the scent of blood and meat would not be very strong. So that may mean the lion could walk straight past within meters of the kill before, or actually, and not actually notice that it's there. But if he did notice it was there, it'll be very interesting to see what happens. Sorry? Yeah. And Steph's just pointed out a very good fact, and that is that animal senses are incredibly powerful, and may have even from a very long distance off have heard that that duiker bleating in distress, and maybe that's why he's heading straight in that direction. So another good point, and always great having another guide around, because especially an experienced one, because there's so much you can learn and share with one another within this industry. There's obviously there are right and wrong theories, but there's always different ways of looking at things and analyzing situations, and having other field guides' opinions and thoughts on the matter is always great for just chatting and debating and discussing the potential, because that's so often what we are doing. Is we are guessing and estimating and using prior knowledge and prior experience to apply to what may be happening currently. But the main thing that we all learn early on in our guiding careers is that you can never be certain of anything out here, and you need to be open-minded and aware that these animals are all different themselves and have different personalities, and different places, different animals, different scenarios can unfold. I'm just going to do a little bit of a loop around, try and get ahead of this lion. And there's a small parkway here that takes us past a dried up little water hole and then links us onto the road that this lion is following, and we'll then get some great visuals of him. Pacing down the road towards us, so stand by. Alex, if you want to drive behind him for a moment, I can get some pictures for you and your guests. Yes, of course. Absolutely beautiful. I'm just going to shoot off because I don't want him to veer off his track, which is this road. But this is their turf, so we kind of have to bend and weave for the animals. Got a question through from Diane in Michigan. Good morning, Diane, and welcome. I hope you're enjoying the sighting with us. Diane is interested to know how tall he is. Now, if I was to stand next to him, the top of his back would probably be above my waist. So, around 3.5 feet at the shoulder, 3.5 to 4 feet at the shoulder, but obviously when he stands with his head raised up, that would give him another foot or so. So this is the dried up water hole on our left that he is going to be coming past shortly. And it's so great for us to be able to see them and follow them, because when we are tracking them in the future, we can be aware of likely routes that they may take. Listen. Well, I certainly didn't expect that, and it's something that I've been hoping to share with you for such a long time. Apologies for not moving the vehicle, but it was such a beautiful noise to hear that male lion calling, and to start up the vehicle and move just to see him wouldn't have made sense. It made more sense just to sit still and keep quiet and listen to him roar. And we could literally feel the roar vibrating through our body. It sends shivers down your spine, and I'm so happy that just happened. Now, you may be wondering, why has he vocalized like that? Why was he communicating like that? It's hard to say exactly why, but in all likelihood, he's letting other lions know that he's here and possibly calling out to other members of the coalition that he may be wanting to join up with. Oh, that was incredible. And it's been many, many months since I've been here for 5 months. I have not heard a lion vocalize like that. And if there's one thing that I could choose for my guests to see on safari, one thing, it would be that. So it's been a long time since I've heard it, and possibly a lot of for you, the first time that you may have heard it. And I hope you really enjoyed that. going through quite a thick area here, so we will continue to leapfrog, and it won't be too much longer that this line will be passing the area of Kunyuma, which is a young male leopard that made a kill earlier this morning. For those of you who have joined the show more recently, we started off with a male leopard and its kill, and it did kill a small duiker, which is a little antelope. It was a big duiker, but it is a small antelope. They're fully grown or very small. And that leopard has now hoisted the kill up into tree and is yet to start feeding on it. But this lion may well know that something's been happening up here, and he may smell the kill, smell the leopard, and then we may have some very interesting interactions on our hand. Woke up immediately when they heard that lion roaring, and I'm not surprised, Beth. It's interesting how even domestic animals can often respond to the call of wild animals. Now, we did have a visual of him in this little gap, and you just need to make sure he doesn't lie down in any of this thick, shady vegetation. Lex is looping ahead in order to try and relocate from that side. You can hear some tree squirrels alarm calling, so it sounds like he is still on the move. And thankfully, just up ahead of us, there's a road that loops us into a riverbed that he in all likelihood is heading down in towards. Alex, where you now? Okay, copy. Yeah, we stayed and watched him until we lost visual completely, but he did appear to continue heading upstream in the Mulwati. Whew. Well, what a great morning it's been so far. And now, because the vegetation is very thick, again, we're going to have to pull out our patient pants and just be a little bit relaxed and wait and see if this lion doesn't pop out at any stage. Just got a question through from Wendy in Kentucky, and while we wait for this lion to pop out again, it's a good opportunity to take to answer this question. So, Wendy would like to know whether this lion would be able to climb up the tree where the leopard hoisted its kill. And I think there's a chance the lion would be able to get up this specific tree, but they are not good climbers, lions. They are not nearly as agile and good at climbing as leopards are, and can often injure themselves when climbing up trees or even trying to climb down from the tree. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. A lot would also depend again on the individual lion. Some lions may be slightly better climbers than others, and with my experience of these lions, which is very little, it's hard for me to be able to predict whether he would be likely to climb, because I've never seen him in that situation before. Now, by sitting and waiting in one spot, even though we cannot see anything and it's very thick, just like how we found Kunyuma, the young male leopard, this morning, by stopping and listening, you can be alerted to different predators by a variety of other animals that will alarm call as the predator moves through the area. Squirrels, various birds, monkeys, antelope, all have different alarm calls that they will let out as soon as they see a predator. So if we just sit and wait and listen, that may be more beneficial than driving around kind of aimlessly through this very, very thick vegetation. Now, just got a question through from Terry in California, and I did touch on it briefly earlier, but I'll reiterate this. And Terry's interested to know if this male lion is part of a coalition, which he is, why would he be moving alone? And I guess, you know, just like a sports team, you could say, people have got different opinions and different ideas as to what exactly they may want to do with their time, and they've got different preferences, you could say. So this male may have felt like heading in one direction and one of the other coalition members in another, and they just go their separate ways. They know they can rejoin with one another. They know that there's not a huge threat to them by being alone. So they do very often split up coalitions, and this also allows them to patrol more effectively. A coalition of 4 male lions can acquire a massive territory, and that's all fine and well. But if all 4 of them stay together permanently, let's say it's 4 males in a coalition, they can't expect to check their territory for any intruders. Therefore, splitting up and covering different areas of their territory, they can more effectively patrol and police their turf, and also check in with the prides of lioness that will fall into their area to check for any mating opportunities. So they're basically dividing and conquering, you could say, and it's not uncommon for them to split up and rejoin. And if even us as humans can hear lions' audio, just like we heard it vocalized earlier, from 5 miles away, I would be very curious to know how far it is that they can hear. They can probably communicate with one another over 15 to possibly even 20 miles easily. Their hearing is so much better than ours, and along with most of their senses, I guess. And therefore, communicating and regrouping with one another is not difficult when they want to. Any luck there, Lex? So, what I'm thinking is to loop across onto the northern side of the Mulwati riverbed, which is the riverbed he cut into. And there's a chance he may be tending more in a northerly direction, so he may have crossed out of the riverbed. And I know that they do often work along a certain route in that direction, so we'll leave Lex in the riverbed and we'll loop around, hoping that he's going to pop out. It is a bit of a gamble, but it kind of makes more sense when everyone's waiting in one area to split up and try and relocate this animal as it could well be that it continues straight up the riverbed to this dam. They have spent time here in the past, but there are enough people in this area viewing the leopard. If the lion comes past them, they're going to be in for some luck. But we will loop around to an area where currently nobody is, and that way it just increases our chances of relocating him. Just so that all of you know, this morning exactly what happened with Kunyuma. We were driving across the dam wall here at Vuyatela Dam. And as we drop down into this little dip below us, we will show you where we initially had the first glimpse of this young male leopard this morning. It was just as we got to this position that we saw him slinking off down to our right, and that's where he continued down into the riverbed and was fortunate enough to make a duiker kill. And just so that you know, all the people that follow the live cam, if VM just pans to the left, sorry VM, there's a bit of a gully that's hidden from view of the waterhole camera. So this is where he would have snuck past without anyone on the waterhole camera being able to see him. Lex for Scott. Any luck there? Okay, copy, perfect. I'm just going to loop around onto Central and see if he didn't veer further north. Yeah, good idea. I think we should do that. Well, folks, while we continue the search for this beautiful big male lion, finally we'll be able to go across to Brent and he can say good morning. And he's been hugely helpful in fixing all the technological difficulties while we've been out here having fun. So I owe Brent one. Anyway, over to Brent and we'll catch up with you a little bit later.
Welcome, guys. I hear you guys have been having a fantastic morning with Scott so far. Romeo and I, we've had a very quiet morning so far, but we've been having fun. We've been doing a bit of birding and looking at some trees. We're at Buffelshoek Dam at the moment. There's nothing here, so we're going to keep on moving on and see if we can find anything. So I think I'll leave all the cats to Scott this morning, and we will start looking for some trees and some birds and some bugs. you do with my knife, young Romeo?
It's under your...
Ah. So I know I have showed you guys this before. It's a very important plant spiritually to certain African cultures, and well, try to avoid. So it's got one straight horn, one hooked thorn. It's an evergreen, and just swing this way quickly. And if you remember correctly, you can also eat it. So what tree is this? And send your answers to questions at questions at wildair.tv, or just use the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. That Travis is along the edge. Road. Scott. Okay. Okay. Go for it. Go with the last name again, please. Well done to Shanae, Lisa, Bren, and Virginia. You got it correct. It was a buffalo thorn. Copy will do. Now we're gonna Sorry, go again. Good morning, Romay, on Twitter. Romay would like to know what if there's any old stories attached to it. And yes, we discussed it. I'll find another one now and get another little branch. We've discussed it before, but there's no harm in discussing it again. Where is another buffalo thorn? There we go. Oh, this is a dry one. Is it? So apparently there's quite a lot more of you got the answers correct. Well, it's not actually ideal branch to show what I want to show. There, that one looks better. Right branch now, where it's going to be easy for everyone to see. up now. There you go. So Ray was asking about any old stories attached to this tree. So it's quite an important tree to quite a few different Nguni cultures. When someone dies far away from their home, a branch, obviously a bit bigger than this one, will be cut from the tree. And especially now with urbanizations, a lot of people do work far away from their sort of traditional home. A branch will be cut from the tree and transported to where that person has been buried. Say if the person is from northern Zululand and they work in Johannesburg, this branch will then be placed on the grave, and it's got a hooked thorn on the bottom side. A bit further away.
A bit further. There you go.
So it's got a hooked thorn on the bottom side.
Further. Steering wheel. There you go.
You can see it's got a hooked thorn on the bottom side, and then it's got a straight thorn on the top side. So that hooked thorn is used to catch the spirit of the deceased. And then once that has caught the spirit of the deceased, the person traveling back, even if it's by bus or car, will buy a bus ticket for the branch, because it actually is representing their deceased relative. And if they buy something to eat or a cold drink, they will buy the branch something to eat and a cold drink. And they will then transfer that back to their sort of their natal traditional home. And then the branch that contains the spirit will be placed generally in the cattle kraal, which is one of the most sacred areas in a lot of Nguni cultures. And there, the straight thorn releases the spirit so it can be with the rest of its ancestors in its traditional home. So that's the old traditional story with buffalo thorn. Stand by. Copy. Luck. Mm-hmm. Copy. I'll take Mvubu and then maybe come east on Buffalo. Okay, so guys, let's see. I asked a question before I went on leave. Let's see who's got a good memory. We're going to start off with, oh, let me just actually remember now. Oh, let me just check. So, I remember now. So, I asked a question about spiral horned antelope and how many spiral horned antelope there were in southern Africa and then in Africa. I think we'll start with, because it's a rehash, we'll say how many spiral horned antelope are there in Africa? Send your answers to question at wildearth.tv, or just use the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. Scott. Sorry, I missed that there. Confirm your only station. My game drive was turned on. Are you the only station going to be making your way there? Scott. Confirm, are there any other stations like there? Copy, thanks. I'd like to join you, but I'm going to make my way straight towards Buffalo's Down. Copy, it'll get better now. I'm just, as I get to the top of the hill, just going straight there. Negative, it should be 9 if I remember correctly. Sorry guys, I also forgot, could you name the different spiral horned antelope? Not just the number, but name them. And remember guys, there are a lot of subspecies or color variations. We're not going to include those. It's just the sort of the general ones. We won't get into subspecies arguments, otherwise we'll be arguing all day. Oh, is that buffalo bull? 2 buffalo bulls. Looks like they're on their way down to Buffalo's Hook Dam, so I'm going to loop around in front of them and meet them at the water. We've got to confirm that animals changed its direction. Copy. I'm just arriving at Buffalo's Hook Dam. I'm going to stand by on the western side. There it is. We've got a hippo, solitary hippo. Those buffalo should be arriving down at the water quite shortly. So guys, I just need to do something quickly. I'll give you an update of what we're up to shortly. Just pick up your radio. Craig, do you copy? Scott just lost that daughter and Gala heading towards Buffalo's Hook from Hyena Road towards sort of Quarry, Nyala Road, North Junction. No negative, just giving you an update. Copy, no problem. No thanks. Thank you for the offer though. Oh. Let's see what Jason's found a Birchall Starling.
It's too fast.
It's too fast. Okay. I'm just going to say yeah or no on the species so you know which ones are right and wrong. Okay, just read that list of 10 to me. Everything except the Situl or something like that were correct. Negative, that's correct. Just read them again, and I'll tell you when to stop. Just read them again to me, sorry. That is the one that is not correct. Okay, well, it looks like only one person got the full 9 correct. And that would be RC from the Netherlands. Well done. So I'm going to list them for you now. So I'll list them for you now. And it is, for the ones that we'll start with the ones that occur here in the Sabi Sands: Nyala, Bushbuck, Greater Kudu, and theoretically, possibly Eland. Just stand by one, Scott. Now I've lost my train of thought. Where were we? So, Kudu, Nyala, Bushbuck, possibly Common Eland or Southern or Livingston's Eland. And then outside of the Sabi Sands, we have Sitatunga, Bongo, Lesser Kudu, Mountain Nyala, and Lord Derby's or Giant Eland. They are the spiral-horned antelopes. Scott, coming. Copy, thanks. Craig, coming. Craig, what's your route from Buffalock? Copy, confirm south on Nyala Road North. Copy, thanks. So guys, what we're doing, standing by here at Buffalo's Hook, is that Scott has been trying to find that Matimba male again, and he disappeared into the big block to our west, but his general direction has been towards the dam. So that's why we decided to come wait here. Scott says his track's not far from here. So we're just going to wait here for a little bit longer to see if he possibly pops up at the dam. As you can see, we've had one of those buffalo bulls we saw a little bit earlier has made its way down to the water's edge. Where's it going to be best?
They just level it out.
Okay. So if you have a look at the leaf, a little bit to the left there. Other left.
Other left.
Yeah, down a bit. There we go. So apiculatum refers to the point, that little curve on the end of the leaf. And this is actually, I've never heard this way to describe before. I used to remember it as a pick, but in this book it says a nice easy way to remember it is it looks like a little curly pig's tail, so it even sounds like a pig's tail. Apiculatum. Sorry, go again with that. I didn't get it. Can you spell the second word for me, please? Please do. The only thing I can think close to that is a blackthorn, but who can tell me which bird that is? Send your answers to questions@wildearth.tv or just use the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. Very pretty bird. Oh, he's gone. Hey, he's back.
Where's he back?
Lower branch. He just went and caught something. I can't see what it was. Oh, he's got a big stink insect. Let me try to get a bit closer. Oh, and it's gone.
Oh, there it is.
No, the stick insect.
Oh.
It swallowed it. There we go. Can get a bit of a better view there. Very pretty bird. Negative. Family's correct, but it's not the one you said. Negative. So Nikki's been giving me a few answers that she's trying to guess what it is as well. And so far, she's only got the family right, but not the individual. And I think she just created a new species as well in her last answer. One that would definitely be new to science. Negative. Negative. Wow, guys, I really thought you'd get this one. Apparently everyone's struggling out there. That part is correct. Scott, Nikki just invented a new bird species. I will as soon as I'm able to. Everyone's still trying to figure out what the bird is. Correct, but that's the old name. Yay! Both of those are correct. It's the same bird. Just two different names for the same bird. Do you have any answers from the world of Twitter or email yet? No. Guys, I'm going to give you another 30 seconds looking at it, and then we're going to move along. Okay. Just stay on him while we get a bit closer. Maybe we can get a little bit closer before he flies off. So yeah, we can zoom in a bit closer now, see if that gives anyone a better idea while we're closer to it. Very distinct markings on the chest. You can see the very, very heavily streaked chest. Very distinct white eye lines, but just generally the shape should give away the family. It's a family you guys know well. Just this one is not one you would have seen too regularly. Oh, and there we go. He answers that for you. So, next. Nikki, did anyone get it? Go for it. Alright, copy. Yeah, that's just give me the first three. Julie, Dance Anyway, and Chris Kruger sightings were the first three. So quite a few of you did get it in the end. But it is a purple roller, or the old name, Rufous Crowned Roller.
Tilt it down a bit, please. There you go.
So you can see that very distinct, heavily striped breast and the white eye line. When they fly, you also get that wonderful bright blue. But yeah. Okay, guys. So from all of us out here at Wild Earth at Juma Private Game Reserve in the Sabi Sands, Scott and Bim are still tracking that male line, so they've asked me to say goodbye for them. And then from Romeo and myself, thanks very much for being on drive with all of us. I hope you guys had a good time. Nice to do something a bit different, some trees and some birds from my side, and we got you. I hope you got your good cat fix with Scott. So until this afternoon, where we hope to see you all back with us. Have a wonderful day or morning wherever you might be in the world.